Part of it, I guess it's kind of like, and I've never really thought about it this way before, but it seems really correct thinking about it this way right now. It was one of those things where you're in love and you get your heart broken, and so you immediately try to rebound, and sometimes you get into like a bad relationship, out of that kind of desperation to rebound. So that's kind of what happened with us. Is we had our heart broken with Jonah Hex, and then this other project came along, and we were just like, it was like a rebound fucking relationship, and it worked about as well as those usually work.
That's the voice of director Brian Taylor, and he's comparing signing up to direct Ghost Rider 2 to a bad rebound relationship. Ghost Rider 2 had glimmers of what made Taylor and his directing partner Mark Neveldine such a unique directing duo. The action scenes may have their gritty intensity, but the film's overall story lacks their bizarre panache. And yes, the plot does revolve around a Burning Skull superhero tracking down Satan to ensure he doesn't turn a child into the Antichrist. But the team simply didn't have the time or resources to deliver on the batshit craziness, especially within the confines of PG-13. After the film, Mark Neveldine would unofficially retire to work on his farm, and it would take Brian another 6 years before he released another film in 2017. There was zero rust on Taylor, however, who returned to form with a film that's a reverence to good taste and politically correctness, Is Its Heart. Mom and Dad is the story of how parents' innate desire to love and protect their children is flipped, and now their all-consuming goal is to kill their children. It's a Hitchcockian swerve in the birds. There is no explanation, no mad virus, no evil scientist. It's happening, and you have to watch. It stars Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair, who fight off midlife crises and rekindle their love bond while attempting to exterminate their bundles of joy. If you ever wanted to watch a horror comedy about parents killing their children, this delivers on every promise and nuance that entails. Director, Brian Taylor.
It was something I hadn't seen before. That's always the genesis. If we can come up with something that you haven't seen before, then we got to try to do it. Even if, and sometimes you find out after you make the movie, there's a reason why nobody's made this movie before. But at least we got to try. Actually, one scene that didn't make the movie, now that I think of it, was the original first scene in the script, which was the reason why nobody wanted to make the movie, because they thought it was so dark and so fucked up. The first scene in the script is a family in the backyard, and the dad is inside the pool, and the kid's sitting, standing at the side of the pool with his knees shaking, because he's afraid to jump in the pool. And the dad's like, come on, buddy, come on, just jump in, it's only cold for a second. I got you. He's holding out his hand. And then the kid jumps in, and I think you know what happens next. Yeah, we tried to shoot it, and the only parts that really worked were the stuff that were in the news footage, but that was originally the first scene in the script, and it was just like, nope. People, even my agents read the script, they were like, I can't even get past I can't get past page 4. What's the matter with you? And I was like, man, you don't understand, guys. It's going to be funny. Like, funny? Yeah, really, really.
Intellectually, I should feel devastated. This should be the most awful thing that could happen to anybody. I get that. But it's just not. Look, I'm trying to summon up some crocodile tears for you, just so you don't think I'm a monster. But I can't.
So do you think it's good, what's happening?
Absolutely not. I think it's horrible what's happening.
But for you,
it was exactly right.
We shot this thing in Louisville, Kentucky, where they don't get a lot of filming, but they had a really good, we could shoot really cheap there. So it was really fun going to all of these cardboard cutout, suburban, tract neighborhoods and going door to door, and we've got a Nick Cage movie about a family that tries to kill their kids, and we need a house to shoot it in. Man, I tell you, I was really nervous because when you try to get a location to shoot at, you have to tell them what the movie's about at some point. So we would go in and we'd tell people, we're with the movie. They were all really excited about Nick, and then finally it would come to the point where, and these are really conservative houses, they've got like Jesus on the wall and stuff like that, and it would always come to the point where they're like, so what's the movie about? And I'd be like, and well, And so I would explain the movie to him, and every single one was just like, oh, that sounds great. I would see that. I want to kill my kids every day.
You fucked up, son. But what if I told you I fucked up even worse?
How?
Did you know that once upon a time, the Firebird was Grandpa Mel's car? It's true. He bought it brand new in '79 right off the line. Used his VA cylinder. Man, that car was his baby. When I was little, I used to watch him polishing on the front lawn every weekend. And by the time I turned into a dumb, horny, pimple-faced high school kid, just like they're gonna be, it was officially a classic. So long story short, I stole the keys, picked up my girlfriend. Yeah, this is before I met your mom. Took her out for a little spin. Pretty much totaled the motherfucker.
Cool.
Grandpa Mel didn't think so. I thought he was gonna crush my skull. But you know what he did? He sold it to me. And it wasn't cheap either. I'd have to pay him back every dime he put into it. And if I wanted to drive my senior year, I better learn how to fix a car. So I did. I spent the whole summer working 2 jobs. Pay back my dad. Here's $10, Dad. Here's $20, Dad. Here's $100, Dad. By the end of the summer, I had that bad boy cherried out from the ground up. Now, you talk about a pussy magnet.
Dad.
Chick magnet. Huh? Your mom keeps telling me to sell, but I just can't bear to let her go.
Is that why Mom always says, I can't bear to think about what must have happened in that car? Because of the accident?
No, buddy. No. She's talking about something else.
I'm sorry I messed up, Dad.
Come on, hey. Like father, like son, right? But if you ever touch that car again, I'll fucking kill you.
Then there is the scene. A mother gives birth to a newborn baby and immediately tries to smother it and kill it with a scalpel. All the while, It Must Have Been Love by Roxette plays. The scene has the tension of a televised assassination. You know what's about to happen, but you're praying it doesn't, but you can't look away. It creates a mother's empathy in the viewer for a fictional baby. The baby, of course, is in no real danger, but the whole time you're rooting for this baby who has no agency to get the hell out of that hospital. You find yourself repeating the word no, 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 as a mantra and begging for the worst not to happen. It's a tense 3-minute scene that leaves you wondering just how fucked up is Brian Taylor. The answer is, he wanted it to be even more fucked up.
That scene in the hospital, actually, in the original script, was sort of more gnarly. I had her strangling the baby with the umbilical cord, but when it came time to actually do it, I thought, like, man, this is going to become, this almost becomes like Lloyd Kaufman level of insane, you know? So I changed it from that to more of like she's suffocating the baby and smothering the baby. And then we, I thought that's going to be pretty shocking, you know, a mother smothering her own kid in the hospital, you know, that'll be pretty shocking. And we edited the scene, we got it all done, and it kind of like, it felt a little weak, you know, it sort of like lacked some teeth, you know, and so we actually did a very sneaky reshoot where we added the whole gag of her trying to stab the baby with a scalpel. And the whole goal of the reshoot was like, I need scalpel and screaming baby face in the same frame. If I could get those two things in the same frame, then the scene was going to work, and I think it does. Yeah, I'm a big fan of ironic needle drops. You know, an early version of that scene I cut with REO Speedwagon, I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore, which seemed really appropriate, you know, lyrical wise. But then when I went back and looked at the video of the original song from the 80s, I realized that the whole video was like a tribute to the guy's newborn baby. Literally, there's like soft, you know, kind of like Vaseline lens, soft kind of shots of this, you know, beautiful baby glowing. And, you know, it was supposed to be the celebration of this sacred experience of having the first kid. I'm just like, I don't think we're going to get it. And yeah, they turned us down. I'm pretty sure I was personally turned down by the band, you know. I don't think it was just a blanket, you know, we're not doing anything like that. But actually, I think we actually dodged a bullet. That was a pretty funny version of the theme, but the Roxette one I think is better. That was pretty dope.
It's not what you think, Mr. Ryan.
What are you doing in my house? Is my daughter here? Carly? Joshua?
Is that Dad? I want Dad.
Mr. Ryan,
We have to leave. God damn it. I need to get my backpack.
Why? Fine, just get it.
Mr. Ryan, we need to talk, sir.
Oh, do we need to talk? Yeah, we do need to talk. You can't be here.
It's not about me and Carly. It's about what's happening.
I get exactly what's happening. It's called hormones. Yeah, believe it or not, I used to be young once, too. And actually, not all that long ago, by the way. And I think about how things were in my day.
Mr. Ryan.
But now, the world you kids are living in, the things you've seen on the internet, mouth to dildo, dildo to ass to ass, hi Brent, anal beads. Things I only saw in magazines.
No.
And the expectations that must come with that.
Dad?
Well, I did friends and family screenings, so it was always like, we would do a cut. And that was one of the things that really let me know that we were going to be fine in terms of killing kids. Every movie feels different when you watch it with a group. And it's really important to watch movies with audiences. Like, you feel the movie in a whole different way when you watch it in a room with people. But something about this movie was especially the case. We just really had to see how people would react to those scenes. I got a little like, how many kids how much can we do before it kind of sort of like the audience turns on you? And, what I found out is the audience will just never turn on you. So it's like, it became apparent pretty quickly that like, those were people's favorite scenes and people loved it. There was maybe like 1 out of 10 people would be like, yeah, that was too gnarly for me. I couldn't look, and this is not really my kind of thing. But 9 out of 10 were just like, oh my God, kill more kids. We should have killed more kids.
In the film, Nicolas Cage plays a murderous father with glee. It of course has his cage rage tendencies, but Nick also explores a different facet of his acting repertoire. Cage delivers raucous monologues that turn the horror film into a stage play worthy of Edward Albee. Recently, Cage has played characters with few things to say, quiet, scarred, and melancholy. Mom and Dad takes him back to his overly verbal days of Vampire's Kiss. And like Vampire's Kiss, in which Cage showed up with a pencil-thin mustache a la John Waters, which almost crashed and burned the whole film, Nicolas Cage also had off-kilter ideas for this character.
Nick was funny. Like, he came in, like, one of the first ideas he had was that he wanted to wear a wig for the movie. He wanted to wear like a curly hair wig, like, because he wanted to be like Robert Reed in the 70s, sort of like the last few years of Brady Bunch. And I had to kind of talk him down on that. I mean, I got where he was going. I said, yeah, it's like, that's a great instinct, because you're kind of, he was trying to do the same thing as sort of what he did in Kick-Ass, where he kind of channeled Adam West, and kind of do like an ironic channeling of a sort of like a iconic everyman dad.
Cindy, you've done a very bad thing with your tattling.
Yes, Daddy.
I know it's difficult for a little girl to know what to say and what not to say. Grown-ups have that same problem, but you have to learn when to keep quiet.
But what if someone asks me where Mommy is? Can't I tell them?
Yes, of course you can.
Even if she's hugging the postman?
Cindy, the point is that you are not to tattle about other people's business anymore. Now, I mean never. Because if you do, you're going to be punished. Is that clear?
Yes, Daddy.
Good, I hope so.
So it was a good instinct. The only thing is, like, the only thing I could picture was the Ricky Gervais character in Extras. You having a laugh?
Are you having a laugh? Is she having a laugh?
That one. And so we talked about it, and I just said that, the thing is, you want to be able to turn. You want to start one way and then go crazy. So it's like, if you seem sort of over the top or campy from the beginning, then it doesn't give you as strong of a turn. But I like the instinct. So it's like, let's take that idea and sort of thread that through everything you do in the movie. So like, a lot of times maybe the wig wasn't the thing, but that concept of looking at the character that way ends up popping up in little pieces of dialogue. It ends up popping up in different pieces of behavior, and it just kind of like becomes part of the subtexture of the movie. The theme of the movie, which is, getting to a certain age and questioning all your choices and feeling trapped and not recognizing who you are and feeling like you're obsolete. you've basically raised your own replacements. It's a universal feeling and definitely something he could relate to. And he put a lot of himself into that, and he did that whole pool table smashing scene with that long monologue. He added to that, he dressed it up and he gave that, he made it very personal. First of all, it's really difficult to destroy a pool table. I didn't realize that. But those fuckers are damn near indestructible. I mean, like, they've got this giant slate layer that's, pretty much bulletproof. It was hard to destroy that thing. So we took like the first part of the day assembling it all, showing him build it, and then now we're going to destroy it. And he really wanted to destroy it because he wanted to be in the moment. He really wanted to be there. But, it's one thing to say it, but for a human being to destroy a pool table with a sledgehammer is no joke. Like, it's really difficult. And he almost killed himself getting that table took apart. I actually felt kind of bad, because by the time he got to the end, he was like, I really thought, we're going to kill him. But, he had to do it. And we gave the pool table a little bit of help, like we would score it. We would go and we'd saw parts of it away so it'd be easier to break up. And even then it was almost impossible. And that's actually that's one of those little regrets that no one will ever know. But that day we came in and we rehearsed. So he did, sort of like a full throttle rehearsal of that monologue. I literally had tears in my eyes. It was just so moving the way that he did it that people were just stunned. And I was like in tears. And then we went to shoot. So now we got to destroy it. We got to build the pool table. We got to destroy the pool table. And by the end, he was sort of like so gassed that he did it a different way. And he came at it from just exhaustion, which was real. And it was also great. And I love it in the movie. But I'll always wonder, man, if we'd have filmed the first one, if we'd have filmed the rehearsal, was it better? I don't know. It's like, you'll never know. Maybe it just seemed better because it was the first time I heard him say it, but, you always wonder, like, man, did we get him so tired that it wasn't the same? Or maybe it was better. It's just hard to tell with those kind of things. But the first time he did it was really special.
You were going to tell me about this at some point?
Jesus Christ. Why do you sneak up on me like that?
You bought a pool table.
Yeah. So?
You don't even like pool. Can I ask how much this cost?
Don't worry about it.
I kind of have to worry about it. I mean, Christmas is coming up. Do you really think this is the right time to start building a man cave in the basement?
Not a man cave, Kendall. Jesus. I just thought, like a family room.
The whole house is a family room.
Okay, you see, I got a problem with that one right there because I bust my ass 6 days a week trying to pay this place down, and it's like a fucking obstacle course trying to get out the fucking front door. I mean, one of these days, I'm gonna trip over one of Josh's toys and take a nosedive straight to the emergency room.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that maybe we need to have boundaries. I'm saying that maybe there needs to be a fucking grown-up zone and a fucking kid zone!
Brent, honey, you think I want to be the one to piss all over your family room?
Do you think I want to be the one who has to build a fucking family room? Perfect. Okay, well, let me see if I can take care of this for you, sweetheart. Yeah, I think I have something. I have just the right thing. Oh, yeah! You put your right foot in, you take your right foot out, you do the hokey and you fucking work it all out.
Oh, stop.
You do the hokey pokey. And you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. There you go. Problem solved. You're right, honey. I hate pool. Not a big fan of machine part sales either. Trying to hit quotas down there, be a big man. Not exactly what I had in mind as a young dude, Bright future, everything in the world to look forward to. I mean, I was gonna grab the world by the balls and squeeze, boy! God damn it, I remember that kid I used to be like it was 4 fucking minutes ago. My feet barely touched the ground back then. My kill ratio was 9 out of 10. It was 100% sex. And that guy, in a million years, could never have pictured this tired motherfucker he turned out to be. Flat on his ass, fat, bald, cottage cheese, fucking ass, blue bonnet, buttered waistline with hair coming out of my ears, my nose. My salary went from $145,000 to $45,000. Yeah, building a fucking man cave, that's right. You're right! I mean, does any of this make any sense to you at all?
Of course it does. I mean, it's not that. As a woman, you don't have career dreams, relationship dreams. I did. I had all that. But there's this bigger thing. All your life, you know it's coming. And there's this mix of anxiety and secret excitement and terror. Because you know that one day, inevitably, you'll create this life. The hugeness of it, the importance of it. Everything is building to that moment. And then it happens. And no matter what you thought it would be, it's not like that. I mean, it's intense. It's fucking batshit, but it's not. It doesn't. Anyways, it is what it is. Just something that happens and then it's...
That's over.
Yeah.
I know this is the way things are supposed to be. I know we're doing it right. It's just hard to get my head around, you know? I mean, I used to be Brent. And you used to be Kendall. And now we're just Mom and Dad.
That was Nick. Nick came in 100% with Hokey Pokey, and he said, because I've always hated that song. He said I grew up hating that song. You know, he said I don't know why. It's just like I hate it, and so if I actually sing it, it's going to put me in this state of mind that's really dangerous, and that's where I want to go. And I'm like, absolutely, let's do it. And it was awesome. Of course, there's nothing like the way that Nick sort of tackles dialogue. You know, he's like, there's a handful of guys like that. You know, there's the Christopher Walkens and the Jeff Goldblums of the world. You know, guys who they will tackle your dialogue and it comes out sounding different than you ever thought it would sound. But it's great. They just have a way of taking those words and putting them into their own rhythm and putting them into their own world that's really special, you know. So if you've got that kind of a weapon, I mean, you got to use it. It was great. I mean, I love Nick. And when we met him for the first time in New Orleans, and within 30 minutes, we were headed toward the above ground cemetery so that we could break in so that he could show us the pyramid that he plans to be buried in. Yeah, I mean, like this guy lives, he lives at 10 all the time, and so he's a really inspiring guy to be around. Well, we had a great escapade on Ghost Rider during the Christmas party that kind of ended up on YouTube, somewhat controversially, because we had a big Christmas party in Romania and everybody drank too much, and it ended up turning into pretty much a gigantic melee where like things were destroyed, and it got super ugly, and it kind of leaked out to the press and everything, and I thought it was hilarious and I had a great time, but I know Nick felt kind of bad about it. On Mom and Dad later when we were in the basement, and I had him tied up in wire on the floor, and sort of immobilized. He said, before we started shooting, he said, like, wouldn't it be funny if this whole movie was just a huge prank so that you could tie me up down here and get back at me for Christmas? And I was just like, man, that never occurred to me, but this is my chance. Because he was really tied up. I could have done anything to him. Instead, we just rolled camera. People say he does too many movies, and not all the movies are great. That's for sure. Not all of them are good. But I've never seen him give less than 100% to anything. I mean, he is so all in, and so committed and such a professional. I just don't think people understand that about him. He kind of has a reputation as being, oh, he's crazy, or he's like, some people think he's a hack because he works so much. He's the opposite of a hack. I mean, he's like, oh, let me give you an example. So on Mom and Dad, right? He flies in, we're doing a table read at the house, and everybody's sitting around. We had the whole cast, Selma, everybody. Nick walks in, shakes everybody's hand, sits down at the table, and does the entire table read off book. Like he has the entire thing, full performance, as if we were shooting. All the rants, the monologues, everything, just blistering the paint off the walls. We got through. He's like, thanks, everybody. I'll be back at the hotel, and I'll see you guys in a few days. And he's out of there. And it was like the actors just looked at each other like, what the fuck just happened? And like everybody knew, like, oh, my God, like we really have to up our game because this guy is like no joke. Like nobody does that. And that's just kind of who he is. He's incredibly professional, super focused, and just all in no matter what the movie is. He has a reputation for being, quote, over the top. And I don't think he's over the top. I think the movies are just sort of like not up to his level. And it makes it seem like he's over the top. He's a hell of a guy. He's basically, if anybody's like a fan of Nick Cage, they want to know what he's like in real life, he's exactly who you would hope that he would be.
After the bad rebound project of Ghost Rider 2, Taylor and Nicolas Cage returned to form in a small, frenetic gem. But ever the perfectionist, Taylor still has one regret.
One of my main regrets about that movie is that we didn't kill more kids. Mark and I always prided ourselves on doing stuff that was super dangerous with the camera. We were sort of like guerrilla, jackass sort of camera operators. It was like, if we can get ourselves into the action and put our bodies on the line, and if actually shooting it is dangerous, then it's going to feel dangerous on screen. It's not just going to feel safe like some CGI thing that nobody had anything on the line. So, but a Mom and Dad, it's a little bit more formal. It's more formal. There's not a lot of stuff where I had to get dangerous, other than just being in a room with Nick when he's destroying it. That's a little dangerous, but that was one moment where I was like, okay, we're pulling out the dangerous card for this one. Because I couldn't ask the camera operators that I worked with on that movie, these were guys from Kentucky that I was kind of like, that me and the DP were sort of bringing along, and showing them the ropes. And I couldn't ask these guys to get that close to a car that was spinning out. So I had to do that one myself. So that was just like, get the handheld camera, start spinning a car out, and just run up and get as close to it as you can without killing yourself. That was great. And that kid who plays young Nick Cage, don't you think that guy looks like him? So we were just doing like open casting, and this guy showed up just as an extra. He was just like, yeah, I want to be in the movie. Can I be in the movie? And we look at this guy, and we look at each other. We're like, this motherfucker looks exactly like Nick Cage. He looks like a young Nick Cage. Are you kidding me? I'm like, who are you? And he's like, oh, I'm like, are you an actor? He's like, no, I live here. I live here in Kentucky. And I can't remember what he does for a living. Maybe he works at a liquor store or something. I have no idea. But, he wasn't even an actor, but he just kind of walked on. And we didn't know how we were going to do that scene. I thought I was going to have to do some kind of weird face replacement gag or shoot it really obscurely. And then just as fate would have it, this dude walks on with the mustache and everything. I was just like, this guy's like a young doppelganger for Nick Cage. And I was like, well, I've got a great job for you, sir. You're going to have fits in your face, and you're going to be in a car that's burning out, and you're going to have probably a very highlight moment in the movie. And he was so happy.
Get your claws off me, you goddamn filthy dinosaur!
Fucking dinosaur. I fought in wars. Shit. What have you done? Come on.
The original line was get off you dinosaur, or something like that. And then Nick added the you damn dirty because of the Planet of the Apes. I was very happy with, because that's one of my favorite movies.